Hi there, folks. All right, so I'm driving to the hospital right now. Uh, I am not planning to visit my brother because one of the things that I've noticed with this particular place is that they are not very clear on when visiting hours are. And it seems like nobody can tell me exactly when visiting hours are. And I'm not necessarily wanting to visit him because he keeps trying to get out, even though for the past almost 2 months he's been trying to get in to the hospital. Okay, so the state of his mental illness, it makes him believe that he is not ill at all, even though he'll have moments where he knows he needs to be there, and then he'll also have moments where he wants to get out. um, So what I'm doing now, because I don't know if I live streamed yesterday or not, because all the days are blended together. I'm tired. As a caregiver, there comes to a time where you definitely have got to set a boundary and stick with it. So yesterday he called me like 7 times, 8 times. And each time it was like a different message, a different thing he said. And some of it was like, oh, they stole my clothes. I don't have any clothes. Come get me. Or something to the effect of, I'm waiting outside on the corner. Come get me. And I'm like getting highly frustrated because it's just that this illness, this disease makes him believe that he is not ill. And that's the frustrating part. Because like I said, sometimes he does know. And then sometimes it's like, I don't care. I want to get out. And last night, again, part of it was like, he's so believable. Last night, he was telling me that like every day he goes to Alabama for treatment. And I was like, at first, I'm like, what? And he gave me a name of a place. Luckily, I was at my computer. I started like looking it up and stuff. And I'm just like, that's not possible. Because every time you call me, I see the number for the hospital. There's no way that that's possible. But he really is convinced that that's where he's going every day. Over 100, like, no, over like 200 miles. First of all, the place he was telling me was actually in Florida. And secondly, he's telling me he's going to Alabama every day for treatment. And then he threw in the whole, like, I started to see the cracks in his thinking when he mentioned me giving him pills every day. And I was like, I'm not giving you any medicine every day. Not right now. But he was convinced, like, you couldn't tell him otherwise. And again, this is a part of the illness. And I have to kind of wait out when to say things that are truthful for him to believe it. And I think this morning was one of those times. He called me again. Because, okay, last night, he was also kind of complaining a little bit. He was saying, like, oh, you don't talk to me, you don't call me. I was like, yes, I do. I have. And then that's right in that moment, I can kind of tell based on what he's saying that he might believe me, but then he's also, I don't believe her. I am trying to call him. I am talking to him. So I was highly frustrated last night because I wanted to believe him because he believed. And this morning, when he called again about clothes, this time he's saying somebody stole his clothes. And I don't know if that's true or not, but here I am going to the hospital right now, taking a scenic route because I can, to bring him clothing. And what I told him also is that I know you don't believe us, me, the doctors, or whatever. That's a part of your illness. I went ahead and just told him straight out. It's like, that's a part of your illness, is that you don't believe us. But I will say this, you are a smart person and you have a strong will. And that means you can get better. You can learn to manage these symptoms. And the fact that I'm not in jail right now, and neither are the doctors, because it would be against the law for us to have you in the hospital like this if you weren't actually having an illness. And I really just let him sit with that. I didn't, get too angry about it. I just said, listen, I'm not in jail, and your doctors are not in jail because it would be against the law for you to be here if you weren't actually ill. And I just let open space, like almost to the fact he hung up. I almost thought he hung up on me. It was like almost a minute where there was silence, complete silence, because I wanted him to really hear that, know that. It's like if you don't believe us, then I would be in jail right now. If you don't believe us, those doctors would be in jail right now because it's against the law to have you in there if you weren't actually ill. And so I kind of left it at that. And then I said, yeah, I'm going to bring you some clothes. And then I said, I'll talk to you later. I really, like, for whatever is happening for him, I really do feel that. I'm sorry. And I think even, I did live stream yesterday. So, and I talked about curses, family curses. And I think what I was trying to say is patterns of behavior, family characteristics and patterns of behavior. You don't have to do the things that your father or your mother always do in certain situations. When you know better, you do better. Okay? In certain situations, I kind of know what my dad would do or say. But I don't have to do it or say it because I know better. That's what I mean by curses, like family curses. And I kind of have to leave it at that. It's like he can get better. And again, I kept saying that you can get better, but you've got to believe and you've got to do what it takes to get better. Otherwise, I didn't tell him this part. Otherwise, I'd have to just start planning for your funeral because I'm not going to keep going back and forth when there are things I see that you can make adjustments for. And he was honest about like not wanting to take his medicine, but it was only because I kept giving it to him. That's what he was complaining about last night. He was like, kept putting the pills in my hand and I took them. It's like, yeah, because you're supposed to. Not because you want to. Not because even if you don't even believe it. It's because you're supposed to. This is what it's going to take for you to get better. Yeah. So it's getting hard right now because I'm also trying to get my life back. I'm not gonna keep running behind him and he not believe that he even needs medication. I'm kind of glad that right now is the time for me to do what he needs for his care instead of subpar care or thinking that the state is going to take care of him. I think that's where my family, the rest of our family, kind of believes like, oh, they're going to do the things. Like, I believe that too for a while until I started seeing what was really happening between my brother's illness and, state care or whatever. It's not happening. Like, because he doesn't think he's sick, he keeps planning his escapes. That's something else. And I'm laughing, but not really. It's like he keeps planning his escapes, but because he doesn't have a memory, he can't remember the plans to escape. And that's why I'm also glad right now at this hospital, they're not giving him pencil and paper because he can't remember what to say to me to get him out. And if we continue to work on this, wherever he gets placed, which that's another boon right now, I'm so grateful that I'm, doing what I need to do, ask the right questions and things like that. I now have the doctor's cell phone number, at least I guess a work phone number, because he just sent me a text saying that, yeah, he's still psychotic. I know. I sure do. And that they are going to have him be placed, because communication is very interesting to me. I kind of double majored in music and communication uh, before becoming an educator. And if you're not clear and direct with your communication, then it will be misunderstood, right? So I know I've been trying to say, oh, like, I hope he gets this and that, blah, blah, blah. I need to just say directly, he needs this. What can y'all do? Okay. So when it comes to being a caregiver out there, y'all, and if you're a caregiver, we need to come together in some kind of things. Like, people are telling you about certain organizations like NAMI, NAMI, NAMI. There's also a Caregivers Association for the United States and for the state I'm living in right now, which is Georgia. I've been trying to reach out to NAMI. Like, I've just, like, I don't know, it's not been happening, but I need to make more efforts now, definitely. Because then now I've discovered that there's other means for other care. So I've been trying to look into health insurance, Medicaid. Who knows what's going to happen with this presidency right now and all the foolishness they're trying to pull right now to pay for it. Because I know nobody can afford all this straight out of your pocket. And most people, like my family, they don't know unless unless you're in the industry. Unless you've been taught. Like, this is why you get insurance. Like, and again, I'm gonna just be frank and honest. Black people, some of us don't get life insurance because I don't know why. There are so many reasons why to have health insurance, not just, or life insurance, and both of them, for so many reasons. And this is one of the reasons. Like, you can take care of your loved ones with that. But nobody teaches us that, or teaches you, you know? And then it turns into a situation where if my brother had like real, like, not to say he didn't, he had health insurance under my parents at a certain time, but we didn't know how to use it in a right way. And so by the time he got off the health insurance, which right around that time where he was diagnosed with being bipolar at the time, he could have got more care. He could have got better care. But we didn't know. We didn't know. We didn't know. And I'm sitting here doing the research because I am highly motivated. Healthcare is a human right. Wellness is a human right. And here in the United States, they make it big business. They make it a money maker. It makes me sick to my stomach to know that. It is a way for other people to make money in the United States, healthcare, the system, the institutions. But yeah, that's where we are right now. So yeah, so I'm glad and thankful. The doctor has sent me a text just now. I'm going to be doubling down on what I need to be doing to make sure he gets the care he needs instead of trying to escape, run off somewhere because he's had subpar treatments and care in the past. It's wild out here, and it's sad. And I'm not going to stand for it any longer. As I'm driving by a nursing home right now, I was like, I've been looking at nursing homes, looking at all this other stuff, looking at possible places where he can go to have a happy life and be safe. You know? Like, it should be against the law for mentally ill people to be homeless. It really should be, but it isn't. It is not. It should be against the law that people can't get the health care they need. But it isn't. Yeah. So as far as me, though, yeah, That's one of the reasons why I really seriously, when I felt my mortality like 10-ish 11 years ago, and I was like, I can't, no, I'm not going to continue to do this. I got to be well. I got to be in charge of my health. Like, I'm not going to wait age or whatever, and all these people talk about, oh, you're like, you're supposed to get fat and wrinkly and all this stuff. No, you're not. You're not. Okay? You're supposed to have a strong, healthy life for as long as you want it. And I'm not saying don't age, but there's quality in age. Okay? I know I'm healthier than I was like 20 years ago. I know I am. Because I don't have chronic migraines and issues with my menstrual cycle and stuff like that, because I now do better. And we all should do better. Okay? Let me go, okay? Because it's a revolution out there, and we got to do better with taking care of our bodies. Okay? With that I said, definitely take care.